I want to talk about the tape test. Now, this is going to be a disagreement of sorts. If you don't know, in the military, when you do height and weight, based on what your height is, that determines how much you're allowed to weigh. You have a minimum and a maximum weight. Now, because me, I've always been a more muscular guy, I typically always weighed more than I was supposed to for my height. My lowest was about 175. And then there were times where I would get up to 180, 181 or so, something like that. I always maintained around that area, between 175 and like 181. Either way, that's more than the maximum weight. And I measured around that each time I took a PT test. After you take a PT test, usually you go to your company or wherever and you do height and weight. So they do your height, they do your weight, and if they find that you weigh more than your height, tape comes into play. So that's where they take a tape measure and they get your body fat content, your body fat percentage. They take a tape measure, they measure your waist, measure your neck, they get the measurements, and then, if you're within a good threshold for body fat percentage, then you failing the weight doesn't matter. And that's how it always was with me. Around that time, I always maintained between 14 and 16% body fat. So I was always good. That tape test, man, I gotta tell you, it was it always bothered me just because I even had a white NCO tell me this in the military, right? Well, he was a staff sergeant, and he told me straight up, you know something? You may already know this, but I want to tell you, the height and weight standards, they weren't meant for people like you. And I kind of knew what he meant. I was just waiting for him to continue being as direct as he was, you know what I'm saying? And he eventually said it. He was like, for minorities like yourself, black people and brown people, the height and weight standards, they were not meant for you. It's based off the white male soldier. It confirmed like my anger for the tape test. I hated getting taped. It should just be like, why isn't it good enough that I passed the PT test and with flying colors? So what, I weigh a little bit more than I'm supposed to, but you can clearly see that I'm muscle, and I just passed the PT test before this. I never understood why that was a problem. You know what I'm saying? I hated that tape test.